What's up, guys? Dr. Mo here, digital nomad physician at digitalnomadphysician.com. Got a bit of a voice situation going on. My girlfriend was sick, and so whatever she had, I caught. It's like a sinusy thing, post-nasal drip, like my throat's a bit scratchy, but other than that, I feel pretty good. Hands coming along. I'm doing my physical therapy. I think it's been about 10 or 11 days now that I've had the surgery, and the stitches should be coming out soon. But I still can't bend the wrist. If I bend the wrist, then my surgeon told me that the median nerve could pop out and that could complicate things. He's like, it's unlikely, but still. Anyway, still in Madrid, Spain. What is it? October 18, 17, I have no idea. 18, I think, 2022. And things are great here. Really, really enjoying Madrid. I mean, out of all the cities I've been in Spain, especially the big cities, right? It has so many different pockets. You find a different culture in every one of them. So it's been great being here in La Latina and Lavapiés. And actually, interestingly, we met a Persian couple, well, not a couple, but two Persians yesterday, which is not very common. You don't find a lot of Iranians in Madrid. And they were just talking, and we walked by, and we're like, "Oh, what's up?" And so we just had a good conversation with them. And so, yeah, it's how you make friends. And I was telling my girlfriend how easy it is in Spain to make friends versus other countries. For example, for me in San Diego, and even not so much Portland. Portland was much easier, but San Diego and Los Angeles, it was not easy to make friends. Here, you just go to a rock climbing gym or go to a bar, and like everybody's sitting around, you just have a conversation. You're automatically friends. So that's great. We met a guy yesterday, Sam. He is from the UK. I think he's from England somewhere. I don't know where. And he's been living here for 7 years, so it was great. It was great meeting him, and so hopefully that's somebody that we can hang out with. His Spanish level is really good. We met another couple at a pizza joint. I talked about that in the last video. So the reason I wanted to make this particular video is that I sent out a what is it called? A poll on my YouTube channel, and I asked you guys, what do you want to what direction would you prefer? What things are more useful to you? I like talking about a lot of different stuff. And so I picked a few things that I enjoy talking about. And what do you guys want to hear more about? Finances, travel, being a digital nomad, so kind of working remotely, telemedicine, etc. And it seems that telemedicine is winning by a long shot. Second is, and it's still going, it's just been like a few days since I posted it, but telemedicine is winning, and then second is working remotely or being a digital nomad. Another video that I have on this channel is about the non-lucrative visa in Spain, and it's so fascinating how much anxiety and stress it gives people, because the questions are always the same, like, you cannot work while you're in Spain. So I think for those of you who are interested in that, I think it's worthwhile checking that out. It's an interesting experience. So let's talk about telemedicine. I think telemedicine is one of the things that it's the most talked about, and it's an interesting opportunity for a lot of physicians. So the state of telemedicine, right? I mean, we've been doing telemedicine for decades. It's just that we never billed for it. We never charged for it. The physician would take call after hours, and the patient would ask questions. That's it. We would do it for free. But now telemedicine has evolved to the point where the insurance companies are paying for it. So CMS, third-party payers, CMS, Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, private insurance companies, employers, a lot of different entities are paying for the time a clinician, PA, NP, MD, DO, spends with the patient. And whatever kind of patient-clinician relationship comes out of that, and whatever prescription or service or referral comes out of that, that's all paid for, counseling, etc. However, one trend that I have observed, which is, for me, it's disconcerting, because I feel like it's going to lead to some of the problems that we've had as a profession. If you guys recall, we had initially the patient and the doctor, and you pay each other directly. Then kind of came the HMOs, which made a lot of sense at the time, perhaps. And then there was the insurance companies, so kind of pooling risk, and then protecting against the biggest downside. So for example, if I have health insurance, or if I have any kind of insurance product, really what I'm trying to protect against is the worst case scenario, because I should be able to handle most scenarios, unless I'm really, really poor, in which case all scenarios could be disastrous. But for example, I'm purchasing a condo insurance on my condo in Long Beach that I'm purchasing right now, and the insurance essentially says, should the entire house burn down, we'll pay up to a certain amount. I can choose what that might be. The HOA is going to pay for the structure, but my actual policy, my actual hazard policy, is going to pay for everything else inside. So let's say $150,000 to rebuild this entire condo. Okay. Because I don't want to have to come up with that $150,000 cash. Even though I might have it, I don't want to come up with that $150,000 cash. So instead, I will say, why don't I put this risk on the insurance company, but I will pay you a monthly amount. And they will calculate what is the risk that this guy's home is actually going to go up into flames. And so, all right, we'll take $30 a month from him. And if it does go up into flames, we're getting enough other people, we're pooling the risk in that way that it makes sense to pay it out. Then insurance companies make a ton of money on this spread. And much worse, the health insurance companies are making an absurd amount of money. On top of that, they get to deny care, right? So yes, the State Farm company or Mass Mutual or whatever these companies are that give you condo insurance or home policies, home insurance policies, they may not pay out in certain situations, but oftentimes they will, right? I mean, if you hear most of the stories, oftentimes they will. There might be a bit of a delay when it comes to like mass flooding like we've had in the US, but for the most part, they will. Health insurance is very different. And so one of the one of the directions that we went as a medical profession was that we decided to all partake in this insurance company because we said, hey, we're willing to go through whatever rigmarole that you guys want to put us through. We'll document whatever you want us to. We'll do whatever billing process you want us to. We'll add another 20-25% on top of our overhead as a private business to hire a billing company just so that we can get the money from your Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, the Blues, etc. But I don't think that's led us to a good place. And so now telemedicine's coming up on the scene, a way for a physician, nurse practitioner, PA even, chiropractor, podiatrist, to directly market to the consumer, right? I can literally put this video up and say, hi, I'm Dr. Rishori. This is what I do, and my services are, urgent care, and I will do a proper assessment of you. I will tell you what you can do at home, and then if necessary, we'll prescribe you medications or whatever, refer you to the proper place where you can have any kind of intervention that you need. So I can do that directly with the client. And I can ask the client to pay me $150 for that interaction, which might be anywhere between 10 minutes to, let's say, 30 minutes. But instead, most of us are looking to go get hired by Teladoc, MD Live, Doctor On Demand, American Well, and these other companies because we don't want to take on all of this headache and risk and responsibility and all that stuff. And this is a bad trend because as the teleworld, right, the virtual world of healthcare is recognizing that, oh, clinicians don't even want to deal with this. This is great. Like, this is awesome. Let's hop in there and make it more complicated for the barrier of entry to be even harder. And then let's pool these patients and create these companies. So again, you're creating middlemen. So I complicated the description on purpose because I think it's helpful for us to understand how healthcare systems work. But to now make it super, super simple, it doesn't make any sense for most of us to go work for Teladoc when Teladoc suddenly sends out an email, says, hey, by the way, you can't work remote. You can't work in another country. Fine. MD Live has done the same thing. Doctor On Demand, American Well did that way back in the day. So they don't want us to work remotely from other countries. And the reality is, when I can work remotely, the reality is I'm not going to stick in one place. That is the entire purpose and point of telemedicine. I, as a physician, would rather see my patients in person. It's just simpler. It's just more straightforward. I have more support. I have all my staff there. But I'm willing to do it virtually if it means I can work from home, and home has a very unique definition to all of us. I don't have one place that I call home. It's either Portland, Santiago de Compostela, or Southern California, or Madrid, or whatever. That's my home at the moment. And so now when a company comes and tells me that you can't do that, I understand that they're trying to control the risk. I have no idea why. I mean, I have no idea what that risk could be compared to me being in that in that one location that they want me to be, other than financial motivations, but I could understand that there's a risk that I don't comprehend. So instead, what I'm trying to urge a lot of you guys who are following my content is that it is better for you to build your own platform. So as soon as the Teledoc email went out, I got blown up on my WhatsApp channel, on my WhatsApp business channel, phone number, and everybody's like, hey, Dr. Mo, what are you doing about this? And like, what do you think about this? And like, what's your girlfriend doing? Because I guess they thought she's doing Teledoc. And the reality is, I think disconnecting from that world is much more helpful, and trying to put yourself in a place where you can actually build something of your own. Build something that is, it doesn't have to be perfect right now. What I'm trying to say is that you can certainly go work for Teledoc a little bit, go work for American Well a little bit, go work for these different companies. But in the end, you should try to build something that you have for yourself. If you're a psychiatrist, if you're an oncologist, if you are even a hospitalist, if you are dermatologist, ER doctor, family medicine doctor, pediatrician, all of these things are very much amenable to having your own particular platform and voice. And not only are you going to be able to find patients in the US, but you can advertise to all English-speaking individuals in the world. I've talked about that ad nauseum, about the difference of being a health coach and not entering a patient-doctor relationship, and being a physician or a clinician to your patient by entering the patient-doctor relationship and prescribing the medications and treatments, etc. And then later, from that brand that you've developed, you can always build a physical place. You can say, okay, I'm going to rent that shop for $3,000 a month in Santa Monica, and I'm also going to have a physical space because the majority of my clients are there. I like that space, and I can send my clientele there. So when it comes to telemedicine, that is the mentality that I have. And when I think about telemedicine, I don't just think about, hi, what's going on? Yeah, this is Dr. Rishori. Tell me a little bit about your UTI. To me, that is so brain dead, like the whole UTI thing, like that's the kind of thing, like, let Teledoc deal with that. That is useless. That is of no value to me. Let Teledoc and MD Live and American Well fight over that and bring that down to zero. Essentially, it's the race to zero, right? I mean, all of that stuff is eventually going to have to be free because there are so many competitors in that space, unless one of those competitors has enough money and can push the kind of legislature through to make UTI suddenly impossible to treat by anyone unless you get a urine culture and, all the other stuff that we have done to basically create as many barriers for delivery of health to patients. What I'm after is the mother, maybe, who's concerned about her, 3-month-old who's having some ear pain, and she is capable enough, has the resources to purchase a pen light, can take put a camera in there. I can take a look. We can talk about the story, the history, and go back and forth and discuss alternative options, holistic options, Western options, Eastern options, Middle Eastern options, Chinese options. I don't care. I want to be in that space. I want to be in that space where the information that my patient can look up, I don't want to be the vault of health information. That information is free for anybody to look up these days. You can go look up any textbook on Google Books. So that's not what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be there to really guide the patient or the caregiver through the proper process of how to make a really good healthcare decision. Hold on. Wait. Sorry about that. Okay, better. So I want to be the one who supports that individual and offers them really good advice from all different perspectives. And I want to save that person the time and effort that they would have to otherwise put in themselves to go look through all these books, look through all that, look through the internet and everything. Is keto better for me? Is vegan better for me? Right? That is why I'm building my health coaching brand. So I don't see telemedicine as just that pure, I'll just give you a prescription, what's going on? A lot of you guys might like that because it is really easy. You go on Teledoc and it's pretty much ear pain, sore throat, UTI, back pain, headache, nausea, whatever. And it's super straightforward, but it is obnoxious and it's killing you. And maybe you're not noticing it or you're noticing it, but like, how much longer can you do that? Many of you are doing it so that you can escape the US, and so you're doing these virtual consults for these telemedicine companies so that you can go live in Nicaragua, Israel, Costa Rica, whatever, Spain, France, Italy, whatever. But you don't enjoy it. You don't actually enjoy it. Like, you're not doing it because you love it, right? You're doing it so that it satisfies this this end goal. So my point, I can't bend this wrist. So my point is try to flip this concept on its head and try to think about what it is that you can do that you would actually really enjoy. Let me turn on this light. Okay, that's better. Kind of makes it more romantic. So what is it? How can you flip this concept on its head so that it is something that you can really enjoy and love to do? So for me, telemedicine is having that synchronous conversation with the patient, so the patient can reach me, we can do a video, audio. I want to be able to have an asynchronous conversation with the patient. So this might, because of telemedicine law, certainly, this might be something along the lines of like asynchronous text messaging with patients I've already established care with, or it might be with individuals who are not my actual patients. So this would be kind of like a health coach relationship. But that's still, to me, telemedicine. Like if I'm delivering medical care or whatever kind of health care that I'm delivering, to me that falls under this telemedicine umbrella. But it is also creating courses, right? I can create a virtual course, an educational material that I sell. It could also be a group session, right? And some of my my career coaching clients who are physicians, like that's what we kind of go through. Like, how can we create a group for this cohort to get together and like connect with each other, and you basically just kind of oversee that, and that's really powerful. So that's still under the umbrella of telemedicine. It might be about coaching other physicians. You're a rheumatologist and you want to teach a bunch of family medicine doctors how to do a better job with this damn ANA and CRP and CCP or whatever the hell that shit is. So that is very powerful, and that is still falling under telemedicine for me. And of course, taking a look at photos and videos and giving assessments. Somebody just uploads a photo and you say exactly what it is. That's a very simple derm business to build. I still haven't seen it happen. And I think it's super easy to do. You could do that for the eye ophthalmology practice. Just somebody can only upload a photo, no extra information. They just upload a photo and you give your assessment and you give that person a quick video, audio recording of what it could be, what it can't be. And it might seem like these are all very complicated things to build, but I don't think they are these days, because all of the platforms and everything is already done for you. Practice Better is where I do my health coaching, heart health coaching stuff. So my heart health coaching clients communicate with me on Practice Better. Pretty much has video, audio, asynchronous, synchronous. I can take notes. And then I use Acute Health, AKUTE, for all my telemedicine stuff. If I have a telemedicine patient, we perform a visit by going on Acute Health. And they have all the same things that they even integrate with Zoom. So it just doesn't get any easier. Those are my thoughts on telemedicine. Now, for those of you who are like, dude, come on, get off your high horse. I'm not going to go start my own telemedicine practice. Fine. You're not going to start your own telemedicine practice. So how can you navigate this entire situation? Well, there's a lot of telemedicine companies that are popping up on a day by day basis, literally, when you look on these different websites. So probably the telemedicine companies which don't take insurance is where you want to be. Or if you want to work with a kind of a established clinical group that doesn't have telemedicine yet and they're comfortable with you being abroad, that's what I would recommend. So for example, there's a lot of like private clinic groups. Maybe there's like 3 or 4 satellite clinics. It's privately owned. Yes, they have Medicare, Medicaid services, but they're comfortable with you being abroad and seeing their patients for them. And they're going to bill it under a different physician or however they're going to do it, so that they can bypass any kind of CMS regulations, which states that physicians cannot bill CMS if they are overseas. At least that's the interpretation of that law at this time. Alternatively, you might find companies like Roman or Nurx or other these companies that I've mentioned. There's so many of them like it now, for hims, for her. And these companies, some of them don't take insurance. Some of them don't accept any kind of Medicare or Medicaid. And so for those reasons, they could care less they take cash, right? A lot of that in the mental health space is really about that. Substance abuse space, a lot of it is unreimbursed, or it's not reimbursed by third-party insurance companies. So those places are easy for you to go work at. And I think you got to lead with that. You got to be upfront. this whole concept of like, let me just get a VPN. I've talked about VPN a lot on my site, and I think it's been misunderstood. I believe I have the right to privacy, and I have the right to not have anybody know exactly where I'm at and doing what at any particular time and place. So I can use a VPN to say that I'm in another city or state. When I log into a particular website, that's my privacy. But to do it, let's say you want to work for Teladoc and you set your VPN to be in Los Angeles, even though you're in Madrid, Spain. The problem with that I see is if everything goes right, nobody will know, nobody will care, right? But if something goes wrong and you got to deal with it, and an investigation happens, and they're asking you, well, where were you located? We have your IP address from this location, but we got this other little weird thing that says your ISP, or internet service provider, was El Catron de Madrid, and they're like, what the fuck is that? So in that case, I don't know, you just don't want to come off as a liar, or you don't want to be caught in that position, because it's, even though it's pretty much totally unimportant, it's going to make people doubt you. So I don't recommend it. I don't think that's the right way of doing things. I think it is better for you to call around and just see what telemedicine companies are out there who are willing to let you work from abroad. But I honestly think you should build your own telemedicine practice. If every single physician had their own private practice in telemedicine, there would still be tons of people waiting to get care. That's just the way things are. Anyway, I'm not going to beat this horse any further. We got a little kick to the face, knee to the groin. That's enough. I mean, I think that's my stance on telemedicine. And then, of course, I'm going to create a lot of other telemedicine videos. Obviously, this is interesting to you guys. If you have any questions, email me, drmo@digitalnomadphysician.com. Take care.